Hey y'all! Okay, let's see how we're gonna plan this out. Yeah, let's see if we can go for... Yeah, my timer's not gonna be on screen for this. But, we're all ready to go. If I'd been thinking, I would have put the timer on screen, but, since I'm actually for once playing a modern game that's not 4x3 where I have a bunch of space to put timers and tickers and all kinds of cool stuff like that, I'm actually just sort of scrunch my face cam in the corner, put the ticker right tucked up beneath it. Hopefully it does not mess with the interface too much. Yeah, 19 years in the making. Yeah, I recently played through Metroid Fusion. Actually, I just beat it the day before yesterday, so I'm pretty happy I was able to beat that. And that's the first time I played that since 2003 or 4. So let's get right into this. Hopefully the audio is balanced good. I did check online to make sure there was no there wasn't any, I guess, interference. I mean, well, any upgrades or updates that need to be done before the game can start. Ooh, it just... Oh man, what a creepy title screen. Perfect. Now, let's see. I just want to make sure... Alright, I just realized my... Okay. Excuse me, my I just realized that I have to manually log into Twitch right now. Excuse me, within Streamlabs OBS. I had some weird trouble right before the stream started. I'm glad I checked here before I actually had problems. I just have to... Yeah, I'm having weird problems I never had before. I don't know if it's related to those weird hacks and stuff, but okay. Yeah, no real, no attract mode or anything on this. Which is pretty, okay. And... Alright, well, I wait for that to set up. Yeah, like normally, like with Metroid, Super Metroid and Metroid Fusion, there's like a gradual intro where it says, it shows, Nintendo, the year, and then it says the year it came out, and then it says Metroid 3 or 4. And then, but nothing here, at least maybe that'll start once we go into it. Now what I find interesting is, I never saw a copyright screen for a Nintendo published game that just said copyright Nintendo and not, copyright Nintendo 2005 or whatever year it was in. So that's kind of new to me. Now, excuse me, I am kind of stalling right now because I'm waiting for something. I'm waiting for my broadcast software to catch up with. No, I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to say too much about what's going on in case that some Hey, oh, happy Friday, says Clackaboy. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to have to... Yeah, I know what I'll do. I'll just have to use my web browser. Yeah, I can't see, okay. Yeah, Streamlabs OBS has been being weird, in weird ways it never was before. For the first time. Alright, so, just grab a sip of water. And let's get started. I'd like to take my first break in about 3 hours, so. Adjust serial RSA, here we go. Adjust the brightness so the image on the left is barely visible. The brightness can be adjusted anytime. That's interesting. Until the image on the left is barely visible. It's interesting that they want to find, because I could turn it way up. It's interesting that I never seen it. I'm sure other games do this, but okay, I could just barely see it. So let's go. Your max volume is lower today. Is that better? Because I've had this weird thing. I've been having these problems where I took my microphone very slightly down from max volume, and it seemed to have, and from Clackaboy, it sounds like it made a world of difference for the worse for you. Because it seems like on some of my streams, when I listen back to them lately, since I cranked my volume up on my mic, on any computer or device I listen to this on, I could, the mic sounds, yeah, that's the kind of stuff I'm not looking forward to. So let's get into it. So my microphone volume is now on max. If I need to adjust if I need to adjust the volume, I have to adjust the game volume. Okay, this is better. Alright. Because, the microphone sounds really bad when I crank it up. That's the only way it sounds vaguely decent on other, I really, I mean, well, I'll try it for myself. I really wish they didn't. I'm not against change or modernization, but stuff like that, it's why? Why do you have to shove that in? Alright. Alright. Here we go. Alright, we're starting off good so far with the music. Metroid. A virulent floating organism that drained energy from its prey through physical contact. Metroids were originally created by the Chozo and named after their word for Ultimate Warrior. Their value as a bioweapon sparked several crises, and as a result, all traces of them have been eliminated. They are now extinct. Oh, the X-Parasites. X-Parasite, a gelatinous parasitic organism indigenous to the planet SR-388. It can absorb the DNA of its host, living or dead, and replicate its form. When infecting a living host, it can even access the host's memories. X-Parasites are not driven by emotion, but by an instinctive need to replicate and spread to increasingly stronger hosts. Their inability to be controlled mark them as even more dangerous than their sole predator, the Metroids. Like the Metroids, they are believed extinct. Believed, yeah, okay, yeah. I have to say, the whole point of Fusion, the whole storyline, what I was led to trust as I was playing Fusion, was that by self-destructing the meteorite that served as the BSL space station, that had the X-Parasite samples in it, that self-destructing the station and with it as it crashed into the planet would just completely vaporize the planet and the space station. I always had problems with the idea that, I mean, a meteor alone can't physically completely destroy a planet. I mean, and the self-destructive explosions are designed to destroy the space station itself. I don't understand how the self-destructive explosives, while crashing into it, would have vaporized the planet completely, but whatever. Interesting approach to these cutscenes. I'm not entirely sure if it's cool seeing this stuff remade from Metroid Fusion. With no Metroid surviving on SR3... Wait. With no... Okay, alright. With no Metroid surviving on SR388, it became infected with the X, horrifying parasites capable of imitating any living being. Unaware of this, I set... Oh, now it's Samus narrating. Okay, so but first those were kind of like log entries, and now it's Samus herself narrating. Okay. I set foot on the planet, got infected, and almost died. I like the look of the fusion suit in this updated art style. I don't know, like, it's interesting because I'm not sure if I feel like these cutscenes are like a cool artistic choice or a budget saving measure that they made as cool and worked as well with as they possibly could. The only thing that said, no, Clackaboy, if you do want to cut out at some point, if you don't want any spoilers or whatever, I don't blame you at all. The only thing that saved me was a vaccine created from Metroid DNA, which also left me uniquely able to oppose the X. This ability was tested immediately when I went to Biologic Space Laboratories, BSL space station, to investigate a distress signal. Yeah, the fusion suit looks cool in this style. Oh wow, they actually gave the SAX hair now. They made it look even more human. There I battled many powerful X forms, including the SAX, which was the X mimicking me in my power suit at full strength. I eventually eliminated the X-Men S on SR-388 by setting the BSL research station on a collision course with the planet. Now, oh, you know what? Something just occurred to me. Where's... just want to check something. Yeah, I don't have... There we go. That's more like it. That's more like it. We just had... I knew I'd forgotten something. I forgot to put the chat layer above my new face cam. So... just gotta drag that down a bit so it's not always covering my face. Only if it gets really active will it cover my face. Yeah, that's what the FFF was for, to just make sure that... Alright. Now, I am expecting a certain phone call, but I'll probably take that live. There I battled many X forms, the space station to fight the planet. After that, the X and Metroids were just memories, or so we thought. Just when it all seemed over, the Galactic Federation received a mysterious video transmission. A transmission with the voice of the late Emperor Palpatine. No. That would be crazy if it was. It showed an X, alive and in the wild. Though thorough analysis proved the video was real, although the sender was unknown, the transmission was traced to a particular planet. It was called ZDR. If the X had somehow escaped extinction out there, they would pose a threat to the entire galaxy. The Galactic Federation dispatched a research team of 7 Emmy to investigate. These robot designs are awesome, by the way. I do intend to get the amiibo of this just because an Emmy is a large research robot designed to capture field samples and extract their DNA. Their incredible mobility and protective plating, made of the strongest stuff made of the strongest stuff in the universe. They don't it's not like, you know, like megatanium or whatever they want to call. It's just the strongest stuff in the universe. Practically guaranteed the mission's success. But not long after their arrival on ZDR, all communication was lost. What is happening on ZDR? Is the planet really infested with X? Is the only one immune to the parasites? It's up to me to go there and find out. Wait, is this like is the X vaccine like a Captain America super serum thing where they only had one dose? I mean, why could they only make one sample of the vaccine? Couldn't they distribute it? I mean, I don't know. Well, I guess they need to have a unique reason that only Samus can do this mission, so... I didn't realize the X would... I mean, it makes enough sense, but I find it interesting that apparently Samus is... Because the end of Super Metroid... I mean, the end of Metroid Fusion implied that Samus is going to be in a bunch of legal trouble for her activities on board the station. That she'd be dragged into court, and they'd be, like, tribunals and hearings and whatever... But, I guess she, was able to, she dipped into her crypto stonks and, hired a really good lawyer, apparently. And by the way, this is...
We'll soon be entering ZGR's atmosphere.
This does happen to be the first ever new release modern game I'm playing on day one, so... Oh, she has her orange suit, so it'll be interesting to see how she gets whatever suit she has on the cover of this. The bounty for this mission does not seem appropriate. This is more what I'm talking now, and at least now it's more Is this the Adam AI or what? Oh yeah, because so this is supposed to...
Entering the atmosphere in
Oh, I like that they didn't like try to make it...
Eight,
Try to...
6,
Try to like have...
4, 3, 2.
Actually, Adam's voice, even for an AI, was way more robotic than even I suspected. But anything to separate this from the Adam Malkovich performance from other M is appreciated. Whoa. Excuse me. What happened? What happened? Because I was just saying, like, she doesn't have the suit that...
That elevator leads to the depths
Wait,
of the
it's...
facility.
Okay.
Signal quality is likely to be low. Remote communication remains difficult. Try to connect to the facility's network when you reach the bottom. That way, to gain contact. Many checkpoints, lady.
That was a bit... This is a bit... This is being told a little out of order, because Samus has... their suit looks very different now. Is this a... Oh, okay. Wait, so this... You would... Is that a Chozo warrior? Is this a cyborg Chozo? Yeah, I could already see, like, they really tried to pull this off on the DS. No wonder they had to cancel the project multiple times. Am I supposed to be able to understand that, or is that like Chozo language? Oh, so that's how she got this new suit? What is this suit? It's like a cross... Even from the beginning, I thought this looks like a cross between the fusion suit and her traditional suit, almost. Like, does this... I wonder what name this suit has, because it... Okay, here we go. Oh, okay. Not... Like, my thumb went straight for that D-pad? No, no. This is... We're analog in here. Alright. Okay, so left trigger. Oh, okay, this is... Hey, mind scan. Yeah, I just started the game itself. Actually, I finished Metroid... I finished Metroid Fusion the day before yesterday. And here we go. Now. Oh, you got special... No, I'm just checking out... Like, yeah, this year. This is a good addition. How... Because in Metroid Fusion, you hold L and you could, like, trigger... You can only shoot on, like, on the diagonals. Now I have 360-degree control. And I really feel like I have full control over Samus's arm cannon. Now... Samus... Suit. Okay, so this is just called the power. They're just calling this the power suit. I didn't know what they would describe this new suit look as. Yeah, thanks for dropping in. Now, if you are going to be... This is the first time I've ever played a new release, a modern game on new release, on release day. It's actually arguably the third new modern game I ever played besides Pokemon Sword and Shield, which I only played for 2 streams, and that I were not that great, and then... Okay. Wait a second, did that just happen? Hold on. Yeah, I don't have the charge beam. When tilting L, presses ZL. Okay. So that's the... So the bumper, so to speak, is to rotate the arm cannon around. And the big trigger, like the bigger trigger is to, hold L to use free aim mode, and tilt L to aim. Okay. Oh, that's cool. Look at that animation. Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, when I press against something, she actually presses against it, but... Oh, okay, there we go. I thought that heart thing was just for... Oh, shucks. You know what this is reminding me of right now, and this sounds weird? I have, for some reason, I have very slight Heart of Darkness vibes with this. Oh. Yeah, the power-ups automatically gravitate towards Samus. Alright. And oh wait, how do I... Wait. Alright, so I have to hold the right bumper to arm the missiles. Oh, wait, I found... Okay, it's X. Alright, I found the infamous melee button. I hope this doesn't make... I hope the... I mean, you saw me beat... Oh, wait, I don't have the Morph Ball yet. I don't know if there's... Hold R to ready missiles. Indestructible blocks are hidden. If you run to a dead end, try shooting at your surroundings. Okay. Alright, the controls are already a lot more complicated. Okay, oh, then and then Metroid Fusion, so hopefully I can keep up with this.
Uploading data.
So, you've accessed a network station. Well done, Samus. I have reviewed your vital signs and video log from the data you uploaded. I've run a full analysis, but I cannot account for why you lost consciousness. My readings indicate dramatic physical changes in you.
Oh. That's interesting.
Whatever caused these changes seems to have stripped you of most of
Oh, okay.
You might call it physical amnesia.
Alright. Okay. So that's the excuse this time.
That brings me to your assailant. I am checking the Federation database against your video log. It appears to have been a Chozo. The attacker's identity is not yet clear. I have determined that you are somewhere within the depths of ZDR. Your top priority should be to return to your ship on the surface. This situation is precarious. Trust your instincts as you navigate upward. This planet appears to consist of multiple areas. Shuttles, elevators, and other modes of transport connect them. Keep in
Yes, accept. Press plus to open the map, and minus... Okay. Okay, there we go. Plus. Oh, we can place a marker. So where is... Oh, look at my ship up there. So I wonder if this is gonna... Is this gonna be like Super Metroid? They basically drop you on Zebus and say, and the only mission objective or directive they give you is just find the larva, the Metroid larva. And that's all, the only instruction they give you for the entire game. So I wonder if this entire game is just going to be get back to your ship and leave this freaking planet as soon as you possibly can. That'll be interesting. Oh, wait. Oh, so if I run and press X. So if I run and press X. That's interesting. Ah, finally a door that works. Oh, wait. Alright. I just had an error with my recording, so that means... I don't know, the stream on OBS is being really weird today. I've had weird problems I never had before, but the stream is working fine, so I'll keep going. No. Oh, so okay, I just have to... Alright, so I just have to... Melee counter at the right moment to parry certain attacks and automatically take aim at the attacker. Use X to use your melee counter now. Alright. I feel like I stumbled into beating him. Okay. That's kind of serious, because there's nothing that taught me so far how to use the wall jump. I just knew you could do it in previous Metroid games. Oh. Okay, that was simple. I didn't... And one thing... Oh. Okay. I have to... Yeah, I have to remember... Stop. Alright, the items automatically... Okay, what I don't... Okay, this... because, I guess, of the ability to, like, aim dynamically, they, like, typically, like, in Fusion and every other 2D Metroid game, the enemies tended to be on the same plane as you. This time they make them shorter than you, or higher than you, and you have to, like, aim at them. So it's... This is gonna be a lot harder than the other Metroid games, and I hope I end up... I hope I can... This... Okay. Hold on. I have to... Hold on. I gotta take care of something real quick. Alright. I don't like doing this kind of stuff live, it's just that the computer suddenly... Fly, move... I'm going to have to, real quick, I'm just, taking care of something. Well, it shouldn't be more than a minute or two, or well, not even 2 minutes, like. Just looking for. Alright, if I get rid of all these. Alright, that should be good enough for now. Man, like everything, today's one of those like mildly, it's not a serious problem, but I don't like all these interruptions I normally don't have to deal with. First X will run to introduce that. Unlike other melee counters, dash melee will... Oh wait, the melee counter doesn't actually, the regular melee counter does not actually damage the enemy. Alright. I don't like how complex this is getting. So I'm supposed to, like, do these high reflex moves, and I can't even, and they don't even actually deal damage. If an area on the map is blinking, it indicates that an item is hidden there. Okay. Now, place marker. I could have used that a few times during Metroid Fusion. Oh, wait, so... Okay, there we go. I made something happen. Missile tick acquired. Okay. Wait, so I guess I gotta go through here. Uh-oh, this is the scene from the trailer, so we know what's about to happen here. And I'm probably gonna get killed very quickly. But that's exactly what happens in the trailer, so... No. You have a bad hand, so you can't climb up here. What are these space butterflies doing to this? Looks like some kind of biocomputer, some kind of biomechanical organism thing here. The energy from the central unit transformed the arm cannon into an Omega cannon. Omega Blaster online. R to hold to charge the Omega Blaster. Press Y while still holding it to fire. Alright. I don't know, like an Omega Blaster, that sounds like the most... we're in for... Okay. So there's the regular blaster where it stays. I'm a little. Yeah, it's the regular blaster. Okay. Well, fortunately, he's gone now. Wait, or is he? Wait, it didn't even let me... Counter enemies stunned from it. You can slide under a stunned enemy. Alright, I'm not feeling how complicated these controls are compared to Super Metroid and alright. Okay. I don't even... Okay, so I have to use this to... I didn't know these would be so easy to destroy. There's no way you're keeping this beam for long, or else these things would not be a threat. Omega Cannon depleted and offline, reverting to regular RFK. I thought so. I thought so. Yeah, I sure called that one. Okay, that's cool. Okay. Oh yeah, this game's gonna be huge, but... But I think I already came through here. Or did I? So what's... Like, I can't... Oh my gosh. Well, it's nice that the... Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, okay, I'm gonna say this, like, with Metroid Prime 1 and 2, I can control those just fine, whereas I typically really can't keep up with first-person shooters, like dual analog first-person shooters. And then with Metroid Prime 3, they added this mode where it didn't automatically lock on. It just sort of kind of locked on, and then you had to aim more precisely with the Wii Remote, so it controlled a lot more like a twin-stick shooter. And I really could not get into Metroid Prime 3 and enjoy it the way I could the first two. And I have a feeling that them making the combat more complex here is going to be the same thing. And I hope we'll see. I'll give this a... I'll stream this at least today and probably tomorrow too. Yeah, I'll give this... Just planning on... at least 3 hours today and maybe 3 to 5 hours tomorrow. And if I'm not feeling it, I'm just gonna have to take the L on this one. If it's not a game I could really keep up with. Wait, so I can... There we go. Alright, so I have to bend down. So when I bend down, that's what messes with me? You don't... Okay. Okay, so that... I can't do anything there. know, and so far, I'm not just trying to find things to complain about, but it... Oh. I don't know if they're going for a more atmospheric soundtrack, but so far the music... I mean, it's, like I said, it's more atmospheric. I'm still in the first section of the game. Like, I don't know. Is there anything... At least get through this door. So can I can't, yeah, I can't get back through there. So if I... Oh, is this door open now? Okay, this door now opens. I see. I see now. Okay. At least we can move onward now. There's a save point. Save, yeah. For a second I was worried I'd been through here before, but that's I could see just because there's an enemy type I never... Okay, we'll have to... Okay, that's not open yet. Wait, did I already come through here? Oh no, I definitely didn't. I definitely didn't. Oh, oh, that's water, I see. Okay. And I think those rooms with the pixels... If I remember this from E3, the Treehouse segment, which was really the only gameplay I watched. Those doors with the pixelated effect on them, I think those are the doors that mean that through that room you're gonna have an Emmy encounter. So I'm guessing at some point I'm gonna come out through that way. Oh, there's an explosive here. Drain the water out. See, look, that's a cool... I mean, that's a cool effect that's new to Metroid. I don't think any Metroid game before this has done that. There we go. This transition between the gameplay and the cutscenes is pretty smooth, I gotta say. So, how do I slide again? Down. I have to... Like, never before in a Metro game if I ever had to, like, keep track of all the moves. Like, it feels very, like... Okay. So how do I slide it? Down and... Like, all four of these trigger buttons do something different. These shoulder buttons. Okay, so... That's the move. So it's down and X, down and B. Well, I don't even know what buttons the slide. Okay, you have to be moving and hit the ZL. All right. Can't get through there. Oh, come on, where's the killer robot? We all know it's coming. Here's the scene from the trailer. They kind of blended those two cutscenes together. Well, it's weird seeing that and the sound's actually synced up properly. Because in the official E3 broadcast, the sound was out of sync by like 2 seconds. Yeah, we made it further than Samus did in the trailer, because at that spot in the... Oh, shoot. Am I gonna die? Oh, no, no, no. Yeah, it's really interesting that those things just happen to have a spike, a projectile spike hidden in their face that, just specifically for piercing the skull of a human-sized target. No, 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 no. You have to... No, 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 no. Oh, wait, do I just go through here? Ah. Oh, wait, no, 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 no. Okay. No, no, no. Wait, wait, how'd he come behind me? You could slide under a stunned Emmy. I feel afraid to even try it. Okay. Okay. No, 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 no. Wait, I thought I... Okay, I didn't. I apparently didn't pull it off properly. I'm pressing minus, it's not letting me skip. Oh, I have to press start and then minus in order to skip. No, 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 no. Come. I wanna... Alright, that quick he's just off my case and he's not coming back for now. I did think the doors turning red for a second and turning white, I think that's a hidden save point tactic. Oh, wait, do I hear actual, like, melody-driven music coming in? Wow, the missile. Don't the missile in other games, Metroid games, don't they increase it by the missile upgrades increase by you by 5? These are only by 2 each. So, oh, save point.
Uploading data.
Both enemy you encountered were clearly trying to capture you. They may have been hacked. If so, it's reasonable to assume all enemy will be hostile.
Yeah, it was yeah, capture me. That was shoving a spike through her skull was a very interesting form of capture. Do they not want to say kill? Or destroy or terminate? Oh well.
Enemy send out a pulse to detect vibrations in the air within a certain range. Essentially, they can hear you. Upon detecting vibrations, an enemy enters surveillance mode to track their source. Stay out of its line of sight when this happens. Otherwise, the danger to you increases dramatically. An enemy that has seen you will begin pursuit. Part of the pursuit protocol is to seal the enemy's own exits. You will be trapped inside. To survive, you must leave its range of pursuit. Evade the enemy and it will disengage. This will also unseal the exits. An enemy never leaves its assigned zone. Their control system must permit them to operate only within that range. I estimate a 99% probability of death if an enemy
Yeah,
captures
PC version of Dread is on sale. Yeah, if you want to call it that. Sale was an interesting way to construct that.
There may be a very small opportunity to escape, but exploiting this window will be virtually impossible. The enemy are immune to your current weapons. You lack the unique energy used to defeat the first enemy. Your only option now is to evade capture and find an exit. Your highest priority in an enemy zone should be simply to survive.
Alright. Yeah, save. I gotta... Basically, the game's cool, but basically, it's all my fears of what this game would be are kind of being realized so far. I want to give it a fair chance. I want to give it at least, like 6 hours or more. But it's I don't know, in a Metroid, like the other day with Metroid Fusion, I died dozens of times, but I never died because there were so many controls that I couldn't keep up with them. I can't say for sure. I do have a fine motor disability. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Why I tend to like simpler games. I can't say. But yeah, I was hoping this would. If this played more like Fusion with HD graphics, I wouldn't be as concerned as I am right now. But it's like, we'll give it at least one more stream, and I'm gonna be playing this for at least a couple more hours today alone. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I fought the QT, the Emmy, like the escape sequences, and for some reason, I've got to say, I remembered. I guess we're getting the morph ball soon because there's a spot I can't get to. The control scheme I'm very disappointed in. It's way too complicated. Well, it's more complicated than I would have liked. I like more simplistic, like Super NES, Game Boy Advance style controls. This isn't a this isn't Metroid Fusion in HD. This is adding, all 4 of these trigger buttons have different functions, and then I have 4 face buttons that all have different functions. And, Breath of the Wild, is kind of the limits of what I can keep up with. You're not sure if you like L1, R1 square to shoot missiles. You use the shoulder buttons for missiles in Fusion, but there wasn't also all these different other things. There was a shoulder button that let you aim, and then one to arm your missiles. They weren't 4 shoulder buttons that all do different things, and 4 face buttons that all do different things, and then buttons do different things depending on if you're moving or not. And I have a feeling this is gonna be I hope this isn't gonna be oh shucks. I did not realize I even entered. See, I tried to do the melee thing, and nothing even happened, and now I'm dead. Against the fire to the triangle. Like, yeah, so. Alright. And the thing is, it didn't even feel like a quick time event. It just felt like action that was happening really quickly, and I couldn't keep up with it. Alright, so this... Yeah, I did not even realize I was going through an Emmy door. Pure luck when you could, when you would nail it to the windowsill. Oh, pure luck! I thought you were selling something on eBay. You know, the look. You know, L-A-A-K. L-at-at-K. Or L-eyeball-eyeball-K. Okay, so it's R, Z, R, and X. Okay. I'm really not digging the soundtrack so far. I know they're going for an atmospheric thing, but like even in like Super Metroid and Metroid Fusion, like, see, look, I keep trying to do that melee thing that's supposed to be able to stun them, and I just feel like it doesn't happen. And that's this, oh man, I'm really, like, because the feeling I'm having right now is kind of like when I got Kid Icarus Uprising, when I, like, it tells me to do this melee thing to stun them, and then to slide under them, and it's like nothing, I feel like it's not happening. Like, I feel like this game needs like an actual like literal tutorial mode where you can just practice something without consequences at rapid pace so you start to get it good. And that's not how that's not how 8 and 16-bit and 32-bit games feel to me, and that's not how Metroid games felt to me. Like, I'm not a hardcore gamer by any means, but I could pick up Super Metroid and get into it and get pretty far in it, and you know, I get creamed by the bosses, but it's not like the simple act of operating the game. And that's why, this is kind of specifically why I wanted to play through Metroid Fusion, to show, like, I could handle Metroid. Because I said it a few times during that stream, I was very specifically worried this game the controls would get more complex, and they'd all these new mechanics, and I'd have trouble keeping up with it, and that's exactly what's happening so far. And I'm also, I know I said this before, I'm not feeling the soundtrack. And like, yeah, Metroid, like, yeah, the games would kick my butt, but it would I feel like they'd kick my butt because the game was difficult, not because I couldn't operate the game. I felt like I could control Samus and make her do exactly what I wanted to do at all times without explanation or needing to practice at it. And that's, can I exit here? Oh, okay, so I can just exit there. Oh, look, like, actual melody-driven music here. Because I guess they're going, like I said, they're going for atmosphere, but I always felt like the melody-driven music in Super Metroid, Metroid 2, Fusion, even the Metroid Prime games, they all still had that eerie atmosphere and were generally hosted melody-driven music. Here, it seems like they're almost shy of it. And you know what? This is by Mercury Steam. For the first time, really, like yesterday, I watched gameplay. Like, I watched BD Geeks, I think his name is, playthrough of Samus Returns, and I played Metroid 2. Got pretty far into it, about halfway through maybe, and that game was brutal, like very unforgiving. The controls are clunky and primitive. but I felt like I had more control in Metroid 2 than I do here. And Metroid 2, like, the music was generally... There's sometimes where it's just beeps and boops and they go for atmospheric with the 8-bit soundtrack, but a lot of the tracks are melody-driven, and in Samus Returns, it felt like they were embarrassed of the melody-driven tracks in that game. They kept them to a minimum. The areas that did have melody-driven music, they sort of reduced it to this background motif, this background that you had to listen, and you could barely hear the melody even come in. Samus Returns was on the 3DS, and apparently Samus Returns, and this whole melee stuff, and this whole thing where you hold the trigger button and move Samus's arm cannon, that stuff apparently originated in Samus Returns. And when I saw that stuff, I'm like, I hope they're not making 2D Metroid too sophisticated, I guess, or complex, because then I knew I wouldn't be able to keep up with it anymore if that's the future of 2D Metroid. And now the same team made Dread, and it looks like they've carried that stuff over and made it even more extreme. And oh, come on. Oh, I did what the game kept telling me to do. And I just instantly die. Like, I can't even do the moves. Like, is there even something that pops up to remind you how to do the move? Because there's certainly no manual anymore, because I bought the physical copy. And I'm glad I did at this point, because at least a physical copy means I could sell the game. I could resell the game. And I'm not someone who resell... I don't... heck, I'd probably... And the thing is, I purchased a copy for someone I know. I purchased a physical copy of this game as a surprise for someone. It's being shipped to their house, and... I'm not even... Okay, no, the melee button is triangle. Oh, see... Oh... I only pressed it once. And it just didn't trigger. Yeah, I'm already thinking of selling it, unfortunately. And it's like... an enemy that enters your minimap, all enemy doors will lock. And the thing is, like, I'm willing to... And this is the kind of thing where, like, I'm into games. I obviously am not, like, just someone who played, like, Wii Sports and Brain Age and doesn't know anything about video games or even more modern video games. I beat Breath of the Wild. I beat Metroid Fusion. But then if I was working for, like, a game magazine or something... Oh, come on. This is my problem. And I have to be, I mean, for full disclosure, I mean, I even have disabled things in my tabs, but, like, I mean, this isn't something that affects my daily life in an adverse way, really, outside of a classroom setting, but I do have a fine motor disability, so maybe that plays into it. I can't say. But, like, if I worked for a gaming website, or, like, a gaming journalism website, had this experience and reported this experience, I get torn to shreds saying that I'm a fake gamer, and I just need to practice more. And I'm not saying this is a bad game. I'm saying I'm having a bad time with it because the reasons I like games and the reasons I guess I like simpler, older games generally, the reason I like games like Metroid Fusion no longer seem to play into what Metroid Dread has become. And I'm not saying, and I'm not even saying that the game should be easier. I'm saying that the reasons the game is difficult to me are reasons that would not encourage me to practice and get better at it, but would encourage me to just not go for the game. Like Kid Icarus Uprising. I will defend that game more so than most people, but I did not enjoy that game tremendous. I did not enjoy that game. I didn't play through it to the end. And I kind of played through an hour or two and never touched it again, in spite of all the cool things about that game. See, look, I'm trying to... How do I slide? How do I slide again? I have to... Okay, down and now. All the cool things about that... Oh, I'm back here. Okay, so I have to slide down. And then I guess jump before... Oh, no, 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 no. No, no, no. Oh, excuse me. Alright. At least I'm kind of closer to this. Yeah, I mean, like the penultimate boss of Metroid Fusion. I must have I feel like I had to fight the SAX. Like, I feel like I had to fight that boss like 20 or more times. But the 20 times I died, it's because I knew I had to learn the boss's patterns and how to deal with it, not because I wasn't good at it. Hey, we made it. I made it through. Oh wait, I've been through here already. This is how I came in to begin with. I can run just past this guy, but the fact is, the game tells me it recommends that, like, oh, you could use the melee and stun him and then slide between his legs, and if I even try that, it's just like nope. So, and plus, okay, so I can't get through. Oh, no, 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 no. Like, the melee button just isn't doing anything. I mean, like, all those games that, like, every time you die, it, like, cues you on the basic controls. Like, I could use that for here. It gives me general advice. It doesn't say, oh, press this and that to do so-and-so. And I'm gonna be real, like, I started playing Final Fantasy VII... It's the only PlayStation 4 game I ever played, but I started playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm the kind of person that... Yeah, I found an Omega Blaster, but it only lasts for that first damaged Emmy, just to introduce you to the idea of it. But it says, yeah, I can't fight them and destroy them, but it says, like, oh, you could stun them and get past them. And I did that once, I guess, when it's quasi-scripted in that first Emmy encounter. Oh, yeah, it's quasi-scripted, so the game kind of does it for you. So, I know, like, there was a lot of backlash towards Final Fantasy VII, what they called, classic mode? I'm the kind of, like, when I saw FF7 Remake and how it worked, I'm like, yes, that's cool, that's how you modernize FF7, because having them stand up in a row and go back and forth, that is no, like, that really couldn't stand with modern presentation, with a more realistic presentation style. But the action and the like, the action gameplay combined with all the menus and stuff, like, I can't keep up with that. That gameplay. I'm the kind of person who I could not play FF7 Remake if it was not for classic mode. And I've heard a lot of disabled, in various ways, a lot of disabled gamers say, like, this is the only way I was able to enjoy this game. And people saying, like, oh, the game plays itself for you, you're not enjoying it. I was enjoying it. I felt like I was playing the game. I was making decisions. My choices mattered. If I just sat around doing nothing, I still lost. So, like, I don't know. Wait. It didn't even, like, the eye didn't even flash for me to cue me to when to do it. You get a second chance if you fail the first time? Okay. Yeah, that would be cool, like, if that was like that, I bet. Oh, boy. Like, this game is probably excellent. This is, like, that's like a thing. Like, I wouldn't go out and get Doom Eternal, because I know I'd get destroyed in that game. I wouldn't enjoy it much. Like, I've seen gameplay of it. I love the writing for it, like, the attitude, the art style they went with, but I knew I could not keep up with that game. And so I wouldn't go get Doom Eternal and be like, oh, this, and then just suffer barely being able to play it. So, like, I could really keep up this. I know this is probably a great game. There's plenty of thought and effort put into it. This is the dream of, you know, a game 19 years in the making that was attempted on several systems in which, you know, like the DS wasn't even powerful enough to handle it, really. So, like, it's, man. Okay, so that way I went through. That's the way I came in. So we'll slide back down. Oh wait, can I? Yay. Okay. Wait. See, look, that... See, look, at all the sections... Okay. Oh, shoot. Okay, I got through the door. We're good. Okay, we're gonna need the gravity suit here. See, like... I don't know, it's like... I got through that, but I felt like I got lucky eventually. I didn't feel like I was playing the game and was getting better at it and found the best approach. I just felt like I eventually got lucky and just didn't get killed because I couldn't... Like... Oh, that's it. Like, that is... I'm guessing the Morph Ball is coming up soon because... You know what? I think this is the furthest I've ever played into a Metroid game without having access to the Morph Ball. Alright. Yeah, let's play a couple more hours today. We'll play at least 3 hours tomorrow. And if I'm not feeling it, then that's that. And I am expecting a certain phone call. Let's see. Yeah, nothing. Alright. See, like, just the fact that, like the basics of the gameplay, like, the game is now balanced around this, the fact that you could stop and shoot and aim precisely. So before, it's not like, okay, you either had low enemies or high enemies, or enemies you had to jump to shoot. Now they're on, like, these weird angles where you have to do this, like, this L and then shoot combo things. And it's not something I could easily... Okay, I'll have to either get a gravity suit or... Now, I will say, it's so weird to me, because, like, for all the little things that are harder than this, just to do on a basic level than Metroid Fusion, now, like, the power-ups automatically zoom back into you, which is fair and... Okay, cool. Okay, we equalized the water there. Which I guess is... Okay, so I have to come back around now that I have that open. Now I could probably access some new stuff on this side as well, maybe? Yeah, I could get up here now. And just the fact... One thing that gets me... The gameplay... I don't think there was ever a thing explicitly saying, oh, you could do the wall jump. Because something that simple... Yeah, it happens simply, but... If you're... I mean, this is a number of people's first 2D Metroid game. And even, if I remember correctly, even in the, like, Metroid Zero Mission and Metroid Fusion and Super Metroid, being able to do that is a bit of a trick. It's not... It's something you can learn, but don't necessarily need to do in order to navigate the world. So, it's kind of questionable that they didn't explicitly show, like, the way they showed the other things... That, oh, you can do this wall jump, because I think that's absolutely nearly necessary. Not, okay, you could do that one without doing the wall jump. Because I, like, had a feeling going into, like, Kid Icarus Uprising, like, this game looks cool, I don't know if I can keep up with these controls, and people in general had arguments about against the controls. I actually would somewhat argued in defense of those controls to an extent, even though I couldn't keep up with them myself. But I had a sense that this game looks cool, I want to give it a chance, but I don't think I'll like it that much, and then I ended up playing it for like 2 or 3 hours and never touched it again, in spite of all the cool things. Like, I would argue, like, Kid Icarus Uprising used almost every aspect of the 3DS to a really, oh god, to like, almost exemplary extent. Like, they even found ways to work in the AR stuff, and the 3D cameras, and the touchscreen. Like, but, see these... See, look, I'm trying to... like, because now I have to use these like melee fighting moves to try to fight these things, and I don't feel like it's working as like it should. I feel like I never play the Devil May Cry games, but I know there's this cliche where in the cutscenes in Devil May Cry, the player looks really, the main character is like going around beating up bad guys and looks real awesome. Then when the player actually takes control, they're just instantly getting destroyed. And that's kind of what I feel like, where like there are these quick time moves and these cutscenes that show how the game is theoretically supposed to look, but then when you actually are playing, like Samus is like easily destroyed and not very agile at all. No. Okay, so through this door. Oh, wait. That's another... Okay, another... Something like the visual vocabulary of that enemy messes with me, because I can't quite... I wasn't sure which way it was facing. I wasn't sure if it was backing up away from me, slowly about to charge me, or if it was just facing away from me, walking away from me. So I wasn't even sure if I was shooting or aiming at the right end of it. Like, I'm not saying the enemy needs to have an obvious weak point in order to be a fair challenge, but I don't feel like I never had a problem in a previous Metroid game where I couldn't see which end of an enemy was the end I was supposed to shoot. I could tell the front from the back by looking at it. I could see, I may not know its weak point, but I could tell, okay, here's where I shoot, there is where I don't shoot. Or, oh, the enemy is facing me, or the enemy is not facing me. Basic things like that. Okay, so I have to... did I come through here? I forgot whether I even came from the left or the right here. See, like, there we go. So 99, I have one. Okay. I don't... Why did... I'm doing the mail... Yeah, this is so silly, because a 3D Zelda, not counting Breath of the Wild, but let's say like Twilight Prince, Wind Waker did it, but it was a much smoother, easier way. Like Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, not Majora's Mask. Like Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and Skyward Sword all had these long introductory sequences where they taught you all of the basics of how to control and play the game, how to use the sword, how to use the shield, and everything. Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword did it to a level that was so extreme that it, like, damaged my ability to even enjoy the beginning of the game. Because, like, yes, I can move Link around, I know how to target, I can, you know, how to use the shield. Like, let me skip this. Like, why are you hand-holding me like this? And then this adds all these new functions. Well, I guess I was supposed to play Samus Returns, which I kind of skipped slightly for the same reason that the reasons I was not particularly attracted to Samus Returns in terms of the gameplay are reasons that are even more extreme here. And I skipped Samus Returns, so I'm getting like thrown like head first into this more complicated way of controlling 2D Metroid. But There we go. So, okay, I think I understand what's going on with this enemy. Wait, it's ignoring me. It's not even attacking me. So, this enemy, the face... So when it attacks me, it attacks with its back legs. So yeah, it turns around and slashes with its back legs. Okay. At least like, just that alone. It's a cool concept, but just... In terms of I guess the visual vocabulary, I could say, to repeatedly use this term, of the enemy, kind of messed with me. Like, or kind of felt like... Alright, let me take my little bit of health back. Now, I got... Hey, got a missile tank, so I finally got past that room. Because I gave up on... Like, the game... I feel like the game encouraged me to use this melee thing on it, and then when I go to use it outside of the initial scene where it shows me how to use it, the game punishes me for it with almost instant death. See, look, like, an enemy like this should not be that dangerous, and it's totally wiping me out. Oh, boy. You know what this feels like to me? This feels like there should be a two-dimensional equivalent of Z targeting. This game feels like there should be a two-dimensional equivalent of Z targeting in the 3D Zelda games, and it just doesn't exist. Because that's why I was able to play proficiently Metroid Prime 1 and 2. Because those games, like, yeah, there was shooting in first person, but the emphasis was more on mobility. The emphasis wasn't on marksmanship and gunplay, but you still were running and gunning and shooting, and I could keep up with that. I could fight huge, dangerous bosses where there are projectiles and hazards all over the place, and I could keep up with that fine. But this game feels like there needs to be a 2D equivalent of the lock-on from Metroid Prime or Z targeting in the 3D Zelda games, and it just doesn't exist. Like, imagine if Z targeting didn't exist in 3D Zelda. It would be a night and day difference in how those games would play. They would be much more difficult, and the difficulty wouldn't, like, the entire nature and approachability of the game would have been transformed if Z targeting didn't exist in 3D Zelda. And 3D action games without an equivalent of Z targeting, I've never been able to keep up with. And a lot of 3D action games don't quite have an equivalent of that just because it's seen as, like, making the game too easy, maybe, or something like that. And that's why these 3D Zelda games are some of the main 3D action games I've stuck with over the years. And no one ever talks about 3D Zelda as being, like, dumbed down or too simple because Z targeting exists. I know people complain about Metroid Prime's 1 and 2's targeting systems because they were expecting something more like a traditional first-person shooter where the emphasis is on marksmanship. Whereas Metroid Prime, you know, the Metroid Prime 1 and 2 basically controlled like a three-dimensional first-person version of an action game. Like, it controlled like a first-person Legend of Zelda game almost, where you have a gun instead of a sword. Yeah, it controlled almost like a first-person version of a 3D Zelda game. And then Metroid Prime 3 controlled more like a traditional first-person shooter, and I could not keep up with it as cool as that game was, and as cool as I could tell it was, as well crafted as I could tell it was. Because we have the Wii remote and the pointer, let's make it more like a traditional first-person shooter, and only have the lock-on feature aim you towards a target, like lock you in the direction, but the actual aiming is more dynamic, and I could not keep up with that. Oh, man. Oh, man. I'm trying to think of people I could give this game away to, other than the person that I already purchased a copy of as a surprise that I'm expecting. Wait a second. Okay. Yeah, that's great. Got another minor disappointment. Very minor. It's just, yeah, just... No, this is minor. It's just like a, got turned down for an art commission. So, yeah, so that's... I mean, I'd rather... I mean, this is a far bigger disappointment than getting turned down for an art commission. And I mean, I'm happy for the artist that they have so many people trying to hire them that, they have to basically hold auditions where they pick the ideas they like best. I'm happy for them, but, yeah. So at least I get to keep that bit of money in my pocket. Yeah, but I mean, having a... Not enjoying a luxury computer program is... When the worst thing that happened in my day is not enjoying a luxury computer program, I really don't consider that an actual serious problem in my life. I'll always keep that perspective. And then, like, I don't know, and so far, in addition to, I don't know if it's me not keeping up with the controls, I feel like just the basic navigate. I feel like just the curve of the difficulty curve in terms of just the navigation and trying to figure out where to go, it's a lot steeper than in previous Metroid games. Because even in like Super Metroid, like Metroid Fusion, yeah, it was a bit more mission based, a bit more hand-holdy in the beginning. But even in in Super Metroid, like the gold standard Metroid, I felt like that first hour, yeah, you had to figure things out and explore a bit, but it was fairly straightforward in where you had to go, and then it opened up and got more cryptic as you went in, whereas here I'm already kind of going in circles. Like, this is kind of, like, this level of just being stuck and going in circles is where I feel like maybe I should have been a couple of hours late, like, at least into the second area of the game. Like, I feel like this is, like, quarter of the way through the game already in terms of the difficulty of just navigating and figuring out where I'm supposed to go. And the thing is, I don't know if me being stuck, I'm not exactly sure if this is a matter of me simply failing to recognize something, or if they're like yeah, these enemies, oh my gosh. Like, I don't have a layout ready to go, but I feel like I should just jump straight into Super Metroid and play through a few hours of that just to prove that I'm not incompetent at this game. Unfortunately, the way Streamlabs works, as far as I'm aware, there's no way to go into a layout and edit it in real time. Yeah, I don't think there's a way to just jump in and edit in real time, and the way Streamlabs has been working lately with the delayed responses to trying to edit things, I don't think I even want to try that on stream. Why don't I... Yeah. I think I have... If I don't have... If I don't have Super Metroid... the game looks great. Maybe the graphics... I don't know, I feel like it's a bit dark. It's intended to be dark. I feel like Super Metroid, like, that game was dark, but I have a mixed feelings on the graphics. I feel like this looks a bit more like, I mean, it looks like Samus Returns. A sprite-based art style would have made this game stand out a lot more. I know this is a cliche thing to say. I'm not just like, oh, modern graphics bad or modern HD style 3D graphics bad, but it's just like, there have been modern sprite-based, because there's some modern sprite-based games that use, like, doing a Super NES style or PlayStation 1 style sprite-based game as, like, an excuse to not putting effort in the graphics, but the games that do put a lot of effort into sprite-based graphics can look awesome and distinctive, and this kind of, relatively speaking, looks somewhat samey. You know, I'm not sure what kind of budget they were working with for this. I know I'm gonna love Mario Party Superstars at least. Okay, I'll give this another 90 minutes, then I'm gonna call the stream for today. Tomorrow, I'll give this 2 more hours on stream, and I'll have a layout ready where I could jump into either Metroid Zero Mission or Super Metroid, and just play that for a couple of hours just to I mean, I just beat Metroid Fusion, so I could prove I could handle the classic 2D Metroid games. I put hours into Metroid 2, but like, oh man, this sucks. Not the game. The game is great. I seriously don't believe that this could be a bad game. But my experience with it sucks. You could say that I suck at the game. That would be a fair thing to say. I'd have a problem admitting that I suck at this game. But if this was like some new, if like there was just some random indie that made like a sci-fi Metroidvania shooter like inspired by Metroid, and I played it and I had this experience, I wouldn't feel bad. I would have felt like this is a great game, a great tribute to a Metroidvania style running and gunning sci-fi shooter, exploration themed sci-fi shooter. But this is also the reason why I stick to the actual classic 2D Metroids like Super Metroid, Metroid Fusion. Metroid 1 and 2 I never beat, but Metroid 1 is just ridiculously hard anyway, and I know I'm not any good at that, especially with the lack of a map. But like Metroid 2, even without a map, I got maybe halfway through that game, and that was on the original Game Boy, and that was like Metroid 2's controls are like just doing this, being able to jump on a dime, like that feels good. That feels exactly as I should. I feel like I have total control over Samus running and jumping, and that's how the classic Metroids felt. But it's all this more complex stuff. Then the fact that it's like I'm this lost this early on. Like, is this, what is that? Remaining mark, okay, I don't want to set a marker there. There's this water area. Okay. I've played through this much of the game already. I mean, the grand total is like ridiculous. This is nothing, but... Yeah, like right now, and like ranking, this would go in terms of, not in terms of how good the game is, but in terms of the quality of the game. Or not in terms of the quality of the game, in terms of my experience playing it and my experience streaming it. It's like, it would be near the bottom of my list. And anyone watching this looking for opinions, my experience with this has nothing to do with how this game will play to a normal player. I do admit this isn't something I talk about. It's not something that really affects my day-to-day life. It's not something that affects my life significantly outside of a classroom setting. But I do have, fine motor disabilities, and maybe this plays into my experience with why I don't like more complex games as much as this. Why I can keep up with something like Metroid Zero Mission or Super Metroid, but not something like this. Why I tend to stream retro stuff, and even modern retro-inspired stuff that gets more complex with its controls and mechanics, I tend to stay away from. So, if you are my experience and why I'm not enjoying this is unique to me. Pretty much any other normal person will have more fun with this and enjoy this more than I am. I want to stress that. Especially since I have a lot more viewers than usual right now. People who maybe aren't necessarily participating in chat. All my complaints, there's certain... yeah, like, my experience with this should not be taken as a reason not to get the game for a typical player. And the sad thing is, like, I follow games, I'm passionate about games, I've played, like, I've played 30 different games on stream. I've been playing games, since 1991. There's certain games I beat routinely on stream. But if I were working for a gaming magazine or a gaming website, you know, in 2021, and I had to do a review of this game and I had to report this experience, my credibility as someone to even listen to would be called into question. They'd say, like, I've never played a game before in my life, or I'm just some casual who only plays Candy Crush and don't know what I'm talking about, or I've never played Metroid, or I'm a fake gamer, or whatever. And, yeah. Well, that's another thing. Normal doesn't, normality doesn't need to, normality as a synonym for good isn't like, is maybe something that as things improve, we could maybe move past. Like, yeah, there's like a normal cell as opposed to a cancer cell, like, for instance. And like, I acknowledge, or like atypical, like I have an atypical brain profile. Like, I'm on the autism spectrum. That's just a matter of fact, and that I'm an atypical person. And there are negative aspects to that and positive aspects to that, and there's a spectrum of those that varies from person to person. That's why autism isn't just one thing, and lots of disabilities aren't just one thing. It varies from person to person. Like, a lot of, like, my fine motor and other issues are things that often don't impact me significantly outside of a classroom setting. So, I'm not offended or anything, Kalaka Boy. It's just an interesting topic for discussion that maybe is relevant now as in ways that it wouldn't otherwise be. But yeah, and I'm going in circles already. I feel like, am I missing something? I'm not even, like in Metroid Fusion, when I was missing something, I could look around and see, like, oh, I'm missing that, or I overlooked that. Here I'm just like, the environments look very samey-ish. I'm not saying that there has to be a ridiculous, like, flashing sign saying, oh, do this, or oh, do that, but, like, I guess I'm using this term again, a lot of the visual vocabulary. Do I need to go through there? Is that what needs to happen? Like, I feel like a lot of the visual vocabulary that would highlight to me in other Metroid games what I need to do next is missing. I'll come back through here. It's been a while. Maybe I came through here too early and I wasn't supposed to come through here yet. But I feel like the game led me to this spot. So, see, I can't get through here. And also, it's just weird. I'm not saying, like, every Metroid game has to be the same or things can't be different or vary, but it's just odd not having... I mean, you get the Morph Ball in the first seconds of the very first Metroid game. And here it's... and a lot of games you start out with it. Here I feel like I'm not even... just not having it, like... For me, what's been more than 90 minutes into the game is kind of odd. I mean, if this is like other Metroid games, it's designed to be beaten if you know what you're doing within 2 hours. Here I'm already an hour and a half into the game, or at least an hour and a half into the stream. Guess I did have a few silly things kind of holding me up, a few technical issues that I had to pause the stream for a minute and mess with things to make sure my computer didn't crash midstream, because I exported a gigantic video file and I uploaded it, and as soon as I uploaded it off my computer, I needed to immediately delete that, and I just didn't do so. No. Okay. So there's nothing around here. Okay. And I do like when you press up against something, he's sort of leaning against there. Well, she's sort of leaning against there. See, look, like, you know why I said he? Because I kind of forgot I was playing Metroid for a second. Like, wait, is this... Can I push through here? No. Yeah, like, I never, like, the whole time playing Fusion, I never had to remind myself, oh, Samus is a woman. Even the SA-X, which is referred to as it by the characters, because it's a clone of Samus, I'd call the SA-X she. Like, I've, like, forgot that I was playing as Samus for a second, because I forgot I was playing Metroid for a second, and, No, not yet. Any second now. Now, I don't remember if I don't remember if I downloaded Metroid Fusion to the Wii U. I mean, excuse me, if I downloaded Super Metroid to the Wii U. I know I have it on the Wii, and I haven't. I'll go and maybe after the stream, I'll go download it on the Wii U. Just because if I download it on Wii U, then I could use my Super NES pad that came with the Super NES Classic Edition. Because when it comes to, okay, wait, okay. Because when it comes to... Yeah, because I've been through here. Like, these areas seem so samey to me. And I never had this problem with the other Metroid games. Like, the only other Metroid game I had a problem with the environments looking too similar, and getting lost just because of that, and not because of, I guess, not paying attention, was the first Metroid, which had limited graphics to work with. Like, Kid Icarus used the same engine and the same way of loading graphics and rooms into the game as Metroid Fusion did? Yeah, I cannot... I'm gonna have to Morph Ball and crawl up there. That's the door I came into this whole area from. And okay, so... Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to learn... Wait, can I... Yeah, okay, can I... Oh, it regenerates. And I can't go up there. I'm gonna need the Morph Ball to get up there. So I need to get around. Well, excuse me, did I... Hold on, I have to see if that was actually something different, or if... Like... Oh, you know what's... I just realized something. I just realized something that kind of makes me cringe. Like, I had a better time playing Other M than this. And Other M I couldn't even bring myself to beat. Other M I had problems with the controls where I felt the first person stuff was unrefined, where switching back and forth I felt like I was getting annihilated by enemies. It had that melee counter fighting game borderline stuff that I did not like. But I've had a better time. I was, like, excited for... Like, I'm not excited to play the game anymore. Like, even with the story stuff, like, I don't know. And that Metroid Other M had, I felt like I was playing the game proficiently enough that it wasn't going to be a problem. So, I thought I saw something move here. I'm just making sure there's something... Okay, there's something over here, something over there. Alright. Yeah, like if they remade Super Metroid and it used these controls and this combat style, I couldn't keep up with, I couldn't play it. I wouldn't enjoy it. The same, like I was excited for years about an official remake of Metroid 2. And then when it turned out to be Samus Returns, I saw the changes they were making. I mean, I told you about the soundtrack. There were some story elements even in Samus Returns I wasn't into. Like the idea that they kind of, from what I saw, they seem to be establishing within the game lore that the Chozo built these ruins that were designed to respond to Samus destroying Metroids, and there was a number of Metroids on these gates that responded to the number of Metroids in the area. And it's like, okay, the Chozo built these ruins, these idols, like centuries ago, and it somehow knew that in whatever year, in the space year of Metroid 2, how many Metroids would happen to be on that section of the planet. And then the idea that, like, Metroid Fusion's narrative seemed to be establishing, specifically addressing the idea that destroying all the Metroids, that Samus destroying all the Metroids was genuinely a mistake. Because I came through here, did I come through here and I destroyed this block and it equalized the water? So can I... And so I can't get back up there. But like with these more realistic controls, it almost feels more jarring that Samus can't crawl up into that space. Apparently without the Morph Ball she can't do it. Yeah, at this point, flat out, like, you could, if you know what to do, you could just tell me. You could just tell me flat out what to do. Not plot spoilers, I guess, but, gameplay spoilers, welcome. Like, tell me what I'm supposed to do, what I'm missing, where I'm supposed to go. It could be a hint, it could be just explicitly telling me, like, this way. Go that way. Go... Okay, so now I'm on the other side of that. So I equalize the water there. So what am I? So wait, how did I not find this before? How did I go for like an hour or whatever and not find this? Because I can't even find my way back to the. Is this the way I came in? Oh wow. Okay, so wow, I'm so excited as something new is actually happening in the game. So I got out of that one area. So I'm going... Alright. So I need the Morph Ball to get in there. So am I just gonna have to go in circles here? Like, this, like, the stuff that feels good, it feels like I'm in total control of Samus, and then, like, when it comes time to shoot enemies and stuff, it's, like, not... Wait, so do I need to... Oh, whoa. Excuse me. How do you get... No, okay. Well, I died for the first time in like an hour. That's something. So I guess I need the charge beam for that, or... So, like, to point, I have to hold L, R, and shoot the missile. I don't know, something about it just seems so much more complicated than on the GBA. But, Alright, slide under here. Okay. What's through here? Hey, is this something new? No, this is something I've already been through. So this upper door... Okay, so this is this... So I'm going in circles again. I can't get through here because I don't have the morph ball. I feel like somewhere nearby is supposed to be the morph ball, but I can't find it. Oh, no, 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 no. Okay. So I guess I won't... Can I even go... Is there anything new up here? No. So... Hey, Azure asked. Yeah, I'm not really feeling the magic with this game, unfortunately. I'll give this another hour tonight. And, because I've been through here. I know what's up here. This is that spot. Yeah, the graphics look great. It's just... the game, it's a little disappointing for me, personally. For anyone else, just about, it'll be great. But... like, the game I was... Metroid Fusion? Which I was playing the day before yesterday that you saw the end of? That was like the end of that... They made the controls too complicated. The game is, like, too cryptic already, and it's right at the beginning. I feel like this is how maybe, like, a quarter of the way or halfway through the game should be. I mean, the harder games, which are arguably older and had less quality of life features than this, I was perfectly fine at. And not just because, oh, I played them through the game hundreds of times, and so I just knew the game, like, memorized the game. It's just the basically, like, operating the game. Just controlling her, like, there are more buttons that have more different actions and moves for her. And, hey, Rolliet. Yeah, not really feeling the magic with this one. I played through Fusion recently. Well, actually, it was the last game I played. I beat that from beginning to end. Mainly just to, basically everything that caused me to skip on Samus Returns, it seemed like they were making the controls too complicated. It seems like they made them even more complicated with this one, and can't really keep up with that sort of action game. So, yeah, it's, I'll give this maybe a couple hours chance tomorrow, and if not, maybe I'll just jump into, not even intending to beat it, I guess I won't. Maybe I'll just jump into either Zero Mission or Super Metroid, because I beat Metroid Zero Mission beginning to end, and that was when not Zero Mission, Fusion, and when I played Fusion the other day, that was the first time I played Fusion since 2003 or 4, so it's not like I had the game memorized. There are entire sections of the game, entire boss fights, that I forgot even existed. So it's not like I just knew the game like the back of my hand and could tear through it. But they just made the combat more complicated than I could really keep up with in modern action games. And then yeah, you get lost in Metroid games, but it just got so cryptic so fast. And I'm not really feeling the soundtrack. It's more ambient than melody driven. Oh, you beat Circle of the Moon? Alright, that was the first... Was that the first GBA Castlevania? I never played through any of the GBA Castlevanias, but I do remember the first one, like before the Game Boy Advance SP was out, they made the graphics too dark, trying to be more like the Castlevania, the Symphony of the Night on PlayStation 1. And because of the way the Game Boy Advance had this... Yeah, like Game Boy Color, the original Game Boy, those didn't have illuminated screens. But you could... But the original GBA had this strange sort of quality to it, where you could... Where the screen seemed to, like, absorb light. Like, it almost sucked light... It sucked in the light that was shown on the screen. so that the darker graphics of the first Castlevania GBA were too dark, and so they lightened up the art style and made the graphics more colorful, but by then the GBA SP was either out or about to come out, and so when played on the SP, it was almost too colorful. I feel like Metroid Fusion, the Samus's suit and a lot of the graphics are a bit more lighter in tone, the color palettes are a bit more, not cartoony, but a bit more brighter, a bit more colorful. Maybe that was an adaptation over Super Metroid to try to make the graphics pop more on the darker screen. The outline's thicker than Area of Sorrow. They anime-ified the series, but that's the one everyone likes. Alright. Yeah, I actually never played a Castlevania game before. Most of my personal experience with it is watching the James Rolfe retrospectives and reviews on them that he did in character as the Angry Video Game Nerd. And then I watched some of the James and Mike Mondays where they played through a couple of different Castlevania games, but I never played through them myself. My memory doesn't stick, so I'm kind of spoiler-free on them. I'd love to play the first Castlevania and maybe Super Castlevania 4, which I do have on the NES and Super NES Classic Edition systems. Maybe as Halloween games some year or another. Not this year, probably. I don't even know if I'll be streaming on Halloween. And if I do stream on Halloween, it might be a more... I mean, come on. I played Heart of Darkness from beginning to end back when I was a kid. Heart of Darkness is like a ridiculously difficult game where you just die every several moments, and I beat that game. So there's no way... Like, I beat Heart of Darkness when I was a kid. I played through about 75% of Super Metroid. I beat Metroid Fusion, like, on stream just a couple of days ago. So there's no way it's just that, oh, I can't handle 2D Metroid. I played through about half of Metroid 2, and it's not because the only reason I didn't beat Metroid 2 is because my save file got deleted because the Game Boy battery from 1991 just sort of lost... The battery lost its save, and I just never replayed through it. So I played through Metroid 2 on an original Game Boy, which had far less detailed and descriptive graphics, did not have an in-game map. So there's no way I could keep up with those games. I probably would not... I'm probably not going to end up playing Five Nights at Freddy's. If I ever play anything modern, or anything Halloween or horror themed, it's probably going to be more of an actual retro game. And I'm going in circles in a way that I feel like I should be hours into the game before I start going in circles like this. Yeah, that was a great episode. Always been very hard, but he picked up the GBA collection. He had a Switch OLED edition by chance. Walked into Target this morning, haven't opened it up yet. Picked a screen protector up tomorrow, going to Dread with no expectations. Yeah, the reasons that I'm not enjoying Metroid Dread are not reasons that would probably... Like, the less than stellar experience I'm having with Metroid Dread is not something that a typical gamer should, and a typical Metroid fan even maybe, should look at me having a bad time with this game and think twice about playing it. Like, I wouldn't go, like, I know, like, the modern Doom games are great. I wouldn't go pick up Doom Eternal and stream it. I know even on the easiest setting, I'd suck at the game. I wouldn't enjoy it much. I don't do good with modern twin-stick shooters. And the reason I wouldn't play... Like, I got this because it's Metroid. Like, but if it played more like the old Metroid games, I'd be having a blast with this. But if this was some modern... I don't know... Some modern game that was, like, inspired by Metroid, and I saw how complex the controls were, and the melee stuff they incorporated into it... Like, and I would think, yeah, that looks like a great evolution on Classic Metroid, but I'll stick with actual Classic Metroid because that looks too complicated for me to keep up with, and I probably would not play far into it. So that's the experience I'm having here. So at this point, I'll give it another hour, and I'll call the stream for tonight. Tomorrow, maybe I'll play for another hour, and if things don't get better, then I'll just swap over to Super Metroid and play that for an hour or two, maybe. The controls, mostly. I mean, because Classic Metroid, it's basically A and B. You have Super Nintendo, you have X and Y. They don't do anything unique, really, though. And and in Super, and I don't forget if Super Metroid's like this, but in Metroid Fusion, you hold one of the one trigger is to hold still, and you can shoot diagonally and aim, and the other trigger is to arm or disarm the missiles. That I can keep up with. This new stuff where there are these quasi quick time events and this melee counter stuff, and you have A, B, and X, Y doing different things, and different buttons doing things whether or not Samus is moving. It's all a lot for me to kind of keep up with. And there's certain aspects of the controls that feel like I'm moving Samus exactly as I'd hope so. And then the way, because there's this new thing, if you played Samus Returns on 3DS, this is in this too, or if you just hold L, you could shoot in 360 degrees. It feels like it's I don't know, when the game was showing me how to do it, it felt scripted. But now that I'm on my own to do it, it feels like the controls just aren't responding. I feel like the game showed me to do these melee quasi quick time things that have no cues for them. And when it first showed them to me, it worked perfectly. But now that I actually have to do it on my own, the controls just don't respond. And like how Twilight Princess was really, it's really the controls in like in Twilight Princess and in Skyward Sword, they go really over the top with like hand-holding you through teaching you how to play the game, every aspect of, you know what this game, I said this before, and this is the first time I thought of it in a while, this game feels like it needs a 2D equivalent of the Z targeting in 3D Zelda games, and this feels like this game needs a 3D equivalent of that, a 2D equivalent of that, and doesn't have it. This feels like playing through a 3D Zelda game without Z targeting being an option. This feels like playing the first two Metroid Prime games without the lock-on feature. And because, like, I don't play first-person shooter, traditional twin-stick first-person shooters. I played Metroid Prime 1 and 2 perfectly fine. Perfectly competently, the most difficult bosses, yeah, I die a bunch of times, but when I died, I felt like it's because I needed to get better at it. It didn't feel like because I couldn't operate the game properly. Meanwhile, Metroid Prime 3... they had a lock-on that would lock you in the direction of the enemy, but the actual marksmanship, what was my reaction to Sora in Smash? First off, I'd have no dog in that fight for Smash. I was hoping for maybe another Nintendo character. I know Sora was wanted for a long time. It was made very complicated by the Disney connections that Square has with Kingdom Hearts. Because... like, I'm surprised, like, just the fact that his Keyblade has the little Mickey Mouse emblem on the keychain thing on it, just that alone, like, I'm surprised that even made it into Smash Brothers. And because Disney has a stake in the Sora character and how he's used, because of the, like, even getting every single licensed character, like, there are things where, like, they might have had to sit down with representatives from Disney and have to negotiate with Disney representatives. Like, okay, Sora is closely connected with Donald and Goofy and with Mickey Mouse, and is Disney comfortable having Mickey Mouse be in a fighting game where we could have videos coming out of images of Mickey Mouse, of Sora, a character associated with classic Disney characters like Donald, Goofy, and Mickey, being beaten up and blown up by a fairly realistic, like, military commando like Solid Snake? Is that something that we want our brand even tangentially associated with? So there's certain things like that that probably have to be worked in the background for every single third-party Disney game, every third-party Smash character that people don't really talk about that much. Like, I know even in, like, the NES era, like with those Konami Disney games, they had to be things like, okay, can Mickey Mouse, should the player, in controlling Mickey Mouse, be able to jump off a pit? Like, because now we'll have images of, oh, someone made Mickey kill themselves. Is that something we can have associated with our brand? Is it okay for a player to be able to take control of Mickey Mouse and have images of Mickey Mouse harming other characters? Like, these are things that licensees of Disney video games have had to work out with Disney in the past. So, I mean, yeah, there's enough, like, logically, But even within that, like that's probably something that they had to work out with Disney. The fact that the Mickey Mouse like emblem is even present on Mickey's keychain. I mean, on Sora's keychain on the Keyblade. That's something that's now going to have to cause in the copyright and trademark notices for Smash Brothers Ultimate to have to be notated. Now Disney has a small stake or has a say in how that certain elements of that character are handled, and that's probably why any future Smash Brothers game, they might have to license it. So that's why I'm kind of surprised they licensed it so that, oh, this is the final Smash Brothers Ultimate character. Because it seems like they were really going for, with this game in particular, Smash Brothers Ultimate being a platform more than a unique title. Because that way, if they worked out with all these licensees the deals for Smash Brothers Ultimate, if they release Smash Brothers Ultimate for a future Nintendo system, they might not have to license all these deals the way that they would if they have to release, oh, this is Super Smash Brothers 6 or whatever. So does by association the Disney universe linked to Metal Gear Solid? Not in terms of lore, not absolutely in no way whatsoever, but in terms of the trademarks and copyrights, like you could have had a thing where you like in terms of the lore, like, you know, Smash Brothers is like Apocrypha. It's just a crossover where the characters are just sort of in-universe explained as toys that exist in someone's playroom or whatever. But in terms of how the trademarks are handled, the fact that, oh, do we want Sora's a character associated with our family-friendly Disney icons? Do we want Sora being seen in gameplay next to this relatively provocative character like Bayonetta? Like, those are things that have to be negotiated behind the scenes, or might be issues behind the scenes that we never actually get to hear them talk about. And things like that there are several characters that may have prevented characters from getting into Smash Brothers over the years. You legitimately thought Sora was Mickey Mouse that somehow became human. That's an interesting misunderstanding. Now, let's see, I first heard of Kingdom Hearts in, I think, 99 or 2000. No, I think it was 99. In EGM, in the rumors section, there were, there was, actual things saying, oh, there are rumors that Disney has, that Square has entered negotiation with Disney for a crossover between Final Fantasy and Walt Disney. And it was I guess at the earliest point at which those licenses were being negotiated. I don't know if it was in development at that point, but in either 99 or 2000, there were definitely the behind the scenes are definitely negotiating the contracts related to it. I mean, remember, Final Fantasy 11, that came out in 2002 or 3 or 4? I think 2003 Final Fantasy 11 came out. Final Fantasy 9, 10, 11 were announced at the same time in 1999. They're announced at the same event, actually. And I think it's the last time multiple numbered Final Fantasy entries were announced at the same time. Alright. I can't... Alright, so here's what's going on. I have my timer for another hour of this, another 50 minutes of this, and there's nothing to do, there's nothing to look at. Anyone who's been watching my stream so far, bless your hearts, because I'm not having fun, there's nothing to look at, I'm not doing anything interesting, I'm just going around in circles, talking about how much I don't enjoy the game. Yeah, and I think what they ended, I think 15 ended up, like, wasn't 15, like, versus 15, is 15 even part of the Final Fantasy 13 expanded universe, so to speak? Because by the time Versus, like, it became 15, and didn't they kind of even divorce it from taking place in the same world? Gonna return this one to the store. I'll see. I'll give this another hour or two tomorrow. 15 is not part of Fabula Novema Fabulous Type 0, still is. Yeah, so why don't I'm just gonna let's see. I was going to originally raid someone playing Metroid Fusion, but why don't I actually see who's playing Metroid Dread? I'm dropping on a random. Well, let's see if anyone Anflux. Yeah, no one I know is playing. Oh, I just typed in Dread. Metroid Dread. Let's find. Wow. Okay. There's someone. Yeah, there's someone watching Metroid Dread with more than 5,000 viewers. I never heard of. But well, Metroid database. Wait, how about? Yeah. Okay. Alright, I'm going to send you over to Metroid Database, and Metroid Database has been, like, around for, like, ages and ages and ages, so I would have thought they would have a lot more. It's not what I was hoping for. It's a good game. It's a good game. I can enjoy it so far. I'll give it another hour tomorrow, and I'll get my layout ready to jump into maybe Metroid, to Super Metroid, and play that for an hour or two just for the heck of it. But, let's see. Why can't I raid? Why isn't my raid option open? I guess I have to hop over to my other laptop. Okay. Metroid database. Alright. Alright, so I'm gonna send you over to Metroid Database. They're playing the game now. So, I'll see you next time. Thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully we have a better time with this.